All right. Good morning, everybody. And marvelous Monday to you as well, Ryan. Happy tariffs. Yay. Adds a little zest to the trading, don't you think, Lenny? Good to see you, by the way. I don't think I've seen you on calls for a while. I don't think. Jacqueline, Carol, everybody. Eric, happy Monday. Sorry I'm a minute behind. We had a major crisis this morning. Big crisis. My youngest daughter, who's in third grade, today's Millionaire Monday. So she had a whole outfit and to do that she planned and picked out all weekend long. And I walk her to school. We got there and she realized she forgot to bring her, it's not a tiara, but a headband. And I don't know, how could you get through the day? You know what I mean? Like, how do you get that third grade math done without your tiara on for Millionaire Monday? So it's also why I'm breathing a little heavy. I had to run back and get said headband. But I wish something like, I wish I had something like that meant something. I mean, you would have thought the world was ending. But anyway, we are here ready to go. Give everybody another minute. You know, I try my darndest to be tough dad. And there are those moments, but man, two little girls run around. It's just like, you're just a softie. It's like, all right, whatever. Here you go. Here's my credit card. Just go get it. Whatever. Yes, I'll sprint back in the 40-degree mud and get you your headband for Millionaire Monday. Matter of fact, I think any call that I've been late for, I swear 95% of the time it's been because of something like that. With my older of the two, I'm a little bit, she's a tough one. That's a spitting image of daddy there. So everybody jokes that that's my son, you know. Younger one, it's a sensitive one. Oh, by the way, some little Tesla charting here I was going to share as soon as Thinkorswim catches up with me. But man, she is such a little, sweetest little thing in the world. So it's kind of hard. Like, yeah, all right. Daddy's running days are kind of behind him, but sure, I'll go get it. But I also think they both figured it out. They're onto my game. They know. Like, they know mommy's not going to go do that. But daddy, yeah, sucker. They know he'll do that. What is this old trend line here? Oh, this is the old breakout here. Yeah, I remember that guy. But yeah, pretty good little setup there. Nice internal trend line here on Tesla. Took out this bull flag. So certainly we would expect, when you look at the bull flag combined with this, we would think upside is where we're going to break to, but certainly not going to start the day that way. So support down here is right around 382, 83, you can see. So something to keep in mind there. For those of you in prime time, looks like we're going to open up pretty good here with BST, which, speaking of, everybody give me a moment. I need to send out that alert. I agree, Miami Jeff. I take it you live in Miami. Yeah, I put them first. I mean, I put my whole family first. Just never forget it. But those two little monkeys. The oldest one's homesick today. And real quick, everybody give me a moment. I got to send out an alert for that service. I'll walk you through the trades here that we have on, but I want to make sure I get this out. Anybody in? I assume some people here on in prime time. We'll probably close out that VST and let the CLS run, and I'll probably go to the dugout and sign my scorecard because that's a winning week, folks, in the equivalent of 15 minutes. Plus, as you know, I'll be out of town starting tomorrow. So I'll just kind of air it out with you guys. We're going to close those VST puts. It's hard to tell what we can get there. I want to get at least 7, but depending on what it looks like here in the next 30 minutes, it could be 9 or 10. If you look at the overnight here, so everybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'll take a step back because I got a few minutes. VST, pretty nasty. These guys, in the group that got just throttled on Monday. So pretty nasty, the reversal here, which is kind of cool because we went long on this going into Friday in my mentoring service, so that was kind of annoying. But regardless, we were on both sides of it. It just didn't fall enough to help us much. But anyway, so it looked pretty crappy. Market looked rough, right? Pretty bearish look right here. That's not great. We've had back-to-back non-confirmations between the Dow and the S&P, where the S&P is notched new highs, not confirmed by the Dow. The Dow just notched highs, not confirmed by the S&P. Again, you saw the warning signs we talked about to start the year. I'm not calling tops or anything. Just be careful. Also, worth noting that in a post-election year, year one of a presidential cycle, February is the worst performing month. It is not only the worst performing month from a percentage wise, but also it is the most likely to be down. I think just ahead of August. So, little tip there. Pro tip for you kiddos. So what we did on Friday, which we do right around 3:45, 3:50, or 15 minutes to the close, we bought the 160 puts here. So you can see here we're going to open up below. Should allow us to get somewhere around $7. But you have to keep in mind, I have to send the alert out before the market opens if I want my members to be prepared. So I could send this out now or 9:15. Any number of things can happen in the 15 minutes, right, between now and the open. So I just want them to be able to be prepared. Say, hey, look, it looks like we can get 7 now. Overnight, we're clear down here. We're going to take this quick game because we also have CLS, and that's where we're going to make hopefully the big money, right? So this will pay for both trades. So we're not going to let this one run. We're going to profit on this one to pay for this one with a little bit left over. So give me just a moment. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay. Oops. Out the door. There we go. And now I put it in the app and we'll get back to work here. So thank you for your patience. Okay. All right, we're good. You're going to Poland, Barry? Oh, wow. I'm going to California. I'm going to Carlsbad. So, all right. So that alert is out the door. By the way, anybody on that LTS webinar on Friday? Turns out they think that the StreamYard platform, for whatever reason, is loading the old presentation, even though I'm is somehow they're trying to figure out why it's doing it. But I don't know how many of you are on that call where it's showing 2024's presentation, even though I'm loading 2025. So Barry's out there living the dream. That sounds awesome. Mine's a work trip, so wah wah. All right, we'll hop to it here and take a look at what else. All right, so we looked at Tesla. That's our VST trade. Now here's the CLS. It's the second. So I like having multiple trades on if given a choice. Um, it we get profit on one. Keep in mind emotion and all that's a big one. Um, Mental. So if we, as I always say, if we're in the clubhouse already with the win, we can just kneel on the ball. That really helps, especially for a lot of members that might be newer. It really helps to I don't know, it makes it easier for them to kind of sit tight and let one run if they know they're not going to lose, right? So if we can take the nice quick gain on VST that pays for both trades, then we can now sit back and say, all right, let's see where this guy goes. For this one, we decided to strangle this, and here's what I did. This is a nasty look on the stock here, and certainly kind of has more of a bearish vibe to it. But the thing's been crazy. We had the Monday, we had the earnings, a lot of stuff going on. Certainly hasn't been much of a trustworthy market, um, at least not for us lately. So what I decided to do was throw a put under the low, right? So the low on Friday was 116, right? So we bought the 115s, and you can see the high was 133. So we went 135 on the upside. Okay. So what we're banking on here is that the stock breaks out of that range, that daily range from Friday. Okay. That makes sense, everybody? And that we're there to catch that move, if you will. So if it's going to take out that 116, it's certainly going to fall below 115. No reason to think it couldn't be a 110 or even lower, right? Maybe trying to fill the gap or something. If by chance there was a reversal, right, and we're taking this out, then sky's the limit, so to speak. So by taking the close out here, right, it allows us to sit back and let that one run. So if we close this and we can let's say hypothetically we only get 7, we paid 6 points, as I call it, just $6 is what we paid total, and using the same number of contracts, not same dollar amount. It allows us to kind of gauge what we need to do a little easier for everybody, keeps everybody together as opposed to everybody having different amounts everywhere. So we spent, I think it was $4. No, wait, let me check. 350, 350 and 3. So we have 650. So we have 350 and 3. So if we can get 7 or like 750 or anything higher, we're going to be profitable with a free trade. And so hopefully everyone can see how that would make things, a little easier if you could sit here for 5 days and let whatever happens happen with a stock that just moved, 15, whatever, $20 in a day. All right, so that's going to be the plan there. But, all right, so that's that. Updating those of you that are in smart trades. We have our GLD trade working, right? Barely got out of SMA. It's really frustrated with it too, because we could have made a little. I mean, I was shooting for more, and the alert didn't. Unfortunately, sometimes powers to be, doesn't line up perfectly, and the alert was never wasn't able to get out in time before our original sell limit got filled. Okay, so nice little 2800 bounce. So rationale, take out this little thing. Let's buy some calls. Whoop whoop, we're doing good. So I don't know. I mean, if this thing wants to kind of keep running to 2,900 or so, I mean, I think we're pretty profitable already. So this was one we went out pretty far because I mean, if you look, it implies a run to, I mean, implies a run to, yeah, 2,900 or more. So I don't know if it gets there, we might just take it. So if we come over here, I think we have 270s. Thing is, this is going to fall short of where we wanted to be. We're here. I think it's the 270s. Anyway, in smart trades, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 270s. I think we're already up 100%. So what do we have to get here? We're at 2850. So give it like another percent and a half, 2%. If it gets there, then in theory, we're going to be up near the, or I'm sorry, 1%. Well, it's like 1.5, 2%. So 1.5, 2, 5, 4. So, it kind of puts us somewhere in this area. I'd say probably $4 or so. So for those of you that in it, that's probably what we would do. Not probably, that is what we would do. So if we see, um, so if we see this get to 2,900, I think it's going to 3,000. But if you told me we can get out of this trade a month early, more than a month early, 2 months early, but yeah, yeah. I mean, it's targeting 3,000. So I don't know, tough call as far as staying in it or letting it run. But if you told me we could have 200% at some point, thank you, Carl. I thought it was 270. Um, so I mean, if it gets to 2,900, we're definitely going to be up 100 and some odd percent. We got out of the SMA. This one was kind of a pain, and so uh, let's see. We put this on. So yeah, we decided to play the volatility here. Kicking myself a little bit because we put it in when it was up here, and I thought there was a shot it could get down here. We were actually up pretty good, and I had looked at potentially selling those puts and keeping the call side. So we strangled this, everybody, and thought about buying puts on it again coming into this week because look at that nice little bearish reversal candle, right? Giving the impression of lower, and here we are. So tariffs or no tariffs, this was already implying lower, right? But next day we got this little gem, and so now we're stuck in the middle. So this is where we started the tightening of the noose, as I call it. So as we rallied, we bring the puts up. As we drop, we bring the calls down. Going into Friday, now keep in mind that runs that number, the amount we have in it, our debit amount, higher and higher. Okay, so it's not as easy as like, hey, just do it. So we kind of want to be patient and wait. And so we went into Friday owning the 240, 250. Now I think or I'm sorry, 240, 245. I think we started the week with the 230, 250, 250 maybe. So we had a pretty wide, right? So imagine, right? Calls that are up here, puts that are here. So when the ETF dropped to here, we were up pretty good. I mean, it might have been dangerously close to 100%. And while I'm thinking about it, kind of pushed off that low a little bit. I'm like, all right, we'll wait. We'll see what we get tomorrow. See if we can actually get to the 230, which was our target. And instead, we got that. So you start kind of playing the game a little bit. When it drops, right, you kind of use that as an opportunity to bring the calls down. When it rallies, right, starts to go up on this Thursday, you bring the puts up. Okay. And then we were in a pretty good spot. And I set our sell limit at just enough to, because I thought, well, we're probably going to 250 or we're in trouble. This is Thursday, so it looks like 250 is coming. So our calls were a little bit closer than our puts, which we didn't mind because we were biased to the upside. But then we shot up, we hit 250 and pulled back. We had a sell limit of $5.30. That would have paid for the entire trade and given us like a small 10% gain or something, which is great. It's much better than a loss, right? Which had we done nothing, we would have taken a loss, a wipeout, right? So this would have been a great spot to take. Hey, we'll take it as a win. Nobody's getting rich off of it, but it's a heck of a lot better than taking a $500 loss. Well, it hit 250 pretty much on the nose and pulled back. I think it went just a hair above 250 and pulled back. And instead of, I think we had 535 was our sell limit. The high was 530, missed it by a nickel. Very funny market, right? And then it started goofing off a little bit. Well, I had sent out an alert that said, hey, take that sell limit off on the top side or raise it or something, because it looks like we might try to break through here. But to protect ourselves, now remember, going into this, we already had the 240s, okay, the puts. So when this thing shot up here, what I was trying to do was roll those puts over top of the calls, okay? So we flip our strangle upside down. And what this does, 247.50s. What it does is it protects $2.50. Okay. In other words, we can't lose $2.50 of the call premium because the puts are going to protect it. Okay. So any if we lose 50 cents of that, the puts just gained it, if that makes sense. All right. So we didn't mind spending whatever it was. I think it was like a quarter or something when I sent it out. We will spend a quarter to protect 250. And then we'll open up the top side. So see if this thing wants to run further. And it did. It went up and hit new high. Problem is, it happened relatively quickly. And before that alert could get sent, that 535 sell limit was hit. So would have been pretty cool. But like I said, we still came away with yes, Richard, that was the GLD. And now I'm on the SMH. So, but yeah, so I mean, we walked away with small profit there, and heck of a lot better than losing. Okay, um, but still, sometimes we'll do that, right? We'll flip the strangle upside down. I don't know if maybe there's a name for that. An inverted. Call it the Maverick. I was inverted, right? We'll do that. So, all right. So what else we're looking at this week? Nvidia is also going to get taken out there today a little bit. At least it was. Where's it at now? Oh, it's not as bad now. 116. All right, 115. So here's the big thing with Nvidia. Look at this trend line. Pretty nice and clear, right? So we got one. Remember, not a big fan of just two tests and hey, look at that crazy trend line. I like multiple tests because we test it multiple times, a third, a fourth, a fifth, stuff like that. Then now we know the market has taken over. The market is drawing that line. I didn't just connect two dots and call it meaningful. The market is confirming that it is, right? So we can connect these 2 points. The market now told me it is important. It is important, right? So we now know we have a meaningful trend line that I think everyone should be watching. Okay, sits at 117. Nvidia looks like it's going to open at 115, so it's going to open up below that line. And if it fails to hold, right, um, you could get in a reversal. Who knows? And then you kind of hold and you get fake out, right? Remember, fake outs like that are pretty bullish a lot of times. But you fail to hold that, you got to start be thinking if you were bullish and expecting yet another recovery. Keep in mind, by the way, Nvidia hasn't went anywhere for months. Okay, so it's not like Nvidia's been going to the moon or anything, but it did right back here notch a new intraday and a closing high there. Okay, but if we pan out here, it wasn't really like, man, this thing's going gangbusters. Mostly it's just been sideways. And every single, whatever you want to call it, bubble, fad, phase, all of it ends eventually. Okay. And we've seen it happen with most of the guys that we were watching with this, right? Remember when we talked about SMCI, we talked about it in prime time all the time. This will implode. I'm only saying that because it happens every time, all the time. There's never been a time, and I'm waiting for somebody to prove me wrong. There's never been a time that I've ever seen in my history where a security has done this and it didn't do this or some variation of it, right? Go look at the work at home stocks. Look at the meme stocks. Look at the weed stocks. Go back and look at the solar stocks in the day, the gold stocks, right? They every time, all the time. The .com, the housing, right? And everybody telling you my favorite phrase, this time is different. Strange because it never is. It's so weird because it just never is. But believe what you want. Who else? MU, right? Looking great. Crash. AMD. All these guys, and there's like one man standing, so to speak. looking pretty good, and down we go. Okay, and you usually give back all of it. So, and then some, right? So where this takes us, we'll see, right? But this kind of comes off as like that last man standing, so to speak. I think everybody else is, oops, trying to pan out further. I mean, that's not a great looking month, is it? A bit of a divergence, a little bit, sort of. But all right, what do we got here? Still kind of flat, been flat since that little recovery there. So those of you in the VST, right, we can kind of gauge, and we're in the CLS. So CLS is going to be pretty profitable too. We could just close them both out if we wanted. So let's kind of speculate. Whoops, let's try to figure this out real quick. For those of you playing the prime time bird, so remember, not too terribly challenging. We own the 160s. Okay, so we're going to drop at least 10, right? Maybe as much as 12. So all we have to do is count back. Here's 10, here's 12, right? So you'll see where I'm saying we could get 8 or 9, right? Is where we would be. And I would just take it. Now, if we look at CLS, remember, we own the 115s. I'd like to let that thing fall to 110 at minimum, but we can gauge where we would be, right? So what are we down here? We're down 11, almost 12. So again, all you have to do is count up here, 11, 12. Pretty thinsies here. So it's tough to say, but I'm going to guess we get around $7 or $8. So we can have ourselves a pretty profitable week in 15 minutes, right? So I might just close them both. Speaking of, I'm gonna hop off here so that I can do that and be ready for them. So everybody, have yourself a great week. Primetime folks, we're gonna have quite the profitable week. That's 2 in a row, added to last week. So pretty nice. Whether or not I'll put on more trades, we'll see. Since I can't do any calls this week, we'll see. But if you're telling me we're gonna be up 10 to 15 grand and equivalent of 10 or 15 minutes of trading, then that's a nice, good reason, like I said, to just go to the clubhouse and sit on your hands, right? Kneel on the ball. But all right, I will see everybody next week. And yeah, as always, good luck in the trading.